Hey guys, and welcome to Captain Charlemagne's Models. I'm your Captain Charlemagne, so let's head over to the bench and see what we're doing for today's project.
Hey guys, and welcome to the very first episode of our building of the 1 in 700 Trumpeter HMS Belfast in her 1959 configuration. So this was something I was very much looking forward to getting when I got it, mainly due to the fact, well, it's Belfast. This is the configuration of Belfast that I am most familiar with, which I'm pretty sure most people are. So of course on the screen we have a nice picture of Belfast. The length is 281 millimeters, a beam of 43.7 millimeters, and the kit contains 180 plus pieces. Belfast steaming through the water, a ship right behind her. So turn it over, get a nice overhead of Belfast. I'm guessing what it's showing here, the black or blue, is all metal deck. Then you have the Afton that has wood deck. I want to check that mainly due to the fact, well, since Belfast is still with us as a museum ship on the Thames, it should not be that difficult to actually get any kind of actual images of her decks. Although I'm not completely certain due to the fact that Belfast is in a mock-up of her World War II camouflage scheme. Give me a moment here. I'm gonna drink my drink. So anyway, some history. Belfast is a museum ship, originally a Royal Navy light cruiser permanently moored in London on the River Thames and operated by the Imperial War Museum. Construction of Belfast, named after the capital city of Northern Ireland and one of the 10 town-class cruisers, began in December 1936. She was launched on St. Patrick's Day, March 17, 1938, commissioned in early August of 1939, shortly before the outbreak of the Second World War. Belfast was initially part of the British naval blockade against Germany. In November of 1939, Belfast struck a German mine and spent more than 2 years undergoing extensive repairs, returning to action in November of 1942 with improved firepower, radar, equipment, and armor. Belfast was the largest and arguably most powerful cruiser in the Royal Navy at the time. Belfast saw action escorting Arctic convoys in the Soviet Union during 1943, and in December of 1943 played an important role in the Battle of North Cape, assisting in the destruction of the German warship Scharnhorst. In June of 1944, Belfast took part in Operation Overlord, supporting the Normandy landings. In June of 1945, Belfast was redeployed to the Far East to join the British Pacific Fleet, arriving shortly before the end of the Second World War. Belfast saw further combat action in 1950 through 52 during the Korean War and underwent extensive modifications between 56 and 59. A number of further overseas commissions followed before Belfast entered the reserves in 1963. A very nice little bit of history. And in fact, that part where it talked about how she was hit by the mine was even more interesting in the fact that, from what I understood and I've learned, is that she broke her keel, which I believe is very bad for a ship. Usually if the keel is broken, I believe that's the end of the line for a ship. And yet they managed to reconstruct and bring her back to service. And of course, as it said, Battle of North Cape, together with Duke of York, Sheffield, and Norfolk. Although, another interesting little tidbit of history was that Belfast could have not became the museum ship on the Thames. The reason being is Sheffield also had the chance to become the museum ship. The only reason Belfast, I believe, was chosen over Sheffield was because Sheffield was in a poorer state of conservation compared to Belfast. but that's just my personal opinion. So let's go ahead and open up our box. Although I will always argue, I don't know why Trumpeter makes the boxes so tight. Alright. First thing out of the box is, of course, their little brochure giving you images of everything you got here to come out of the kit. Next out is our instructions and our paint guide. So, like with most things relating to Trumpeter, take the paint guide with a grain of salt. You get a nice picture of the port and starboard side, as well as overhead shot of the warship. It tells you the colors to use for Mr. Hobby, Acrylicson, Vallejo, Model Masters, Tamiya, and Homebrew, although those ones aren't shown, which is strange for the first one. For the second one, however, it does show them. So for the hull, it's recommending using light gray for the hull, as well as RLM83 dark green. So I'm guessing the dark green is most likely the actual deck, because I believe a number of Royal Navy ships have green decks on them. They're missile cruisers like Westminster. I'll have to look again. I know Jason at Model Kit Stuff did a video, so I'll look at his guide to see on that. Of course, you have the wood brown for your deck, the tan color H27. Oh, actually, sorry. The tan, which I'm guessing is wood deck tan, is for the deck. The wood brown is for the inner parts of the lifeboats. And the flat black is, of course, for the tops of the funnels. So, very easy little paint guide to follow for Belfast. So, first thing out of the box, everything nice and packaged, is parts of her. So 2 of the turret bases here for her 6-inch guns. I believe you also have in here parts of her superstructure. Let's open this up real quick and we'll take a closer look at each piece. Okay. So, as stated before, so you got these 2 parts. I believe both have connections to the superstructure. This one definitely has her bridge on it. This one might be for the front or the rear section of the ship. We will learn as we go and as we build. Another piece of the superstructure. This is the part that the bridge will set on. So this is the lower part of the main superstructure. Still pretty decently detailed. Probably anyone who actually has been on the Belfast could probably tell you there's going to be some inconsistencies with the model. So next we get parts for both the ships, 2 of the ships, sorry, 6-inch guns. Next sprue has more pieces for another piece for the 6-inch gun to rest on. So you have your barbette and the part of the ship structure it fits in. You have the funnels. You have the funnel caps right here on both sides. 5 and 6 here on B sprue. That is probably, I'm going to hazard to guess maybe the pieces that are for the antennas on the Belfast's two masts, and you have a small lifeboat or whaler. I'm not sure what that they are. This, of course, being the 1950s, those are probably gas or diesel powered. And you have the base for one of your funnels. Next sprue out is a double sprue. So you have the ship's anti-aircraft guns. Recognize those, they're shields. I believe these are also the twin guns that go for it. I see what seems to be radars, the smaller AA bases. I want to guess that these ones here that are locked to 1 and 2, those are perhaps depth charge launchers. And these here I could not tell you. We shall learn as we build the Belfast. So next piece out, all nice and wrapped up. You of course get the whole Trumpeter's famous part where they put the whole name of the model. 1 in 700 Royal Navy HMS Belfast, and then in parentheses 1959. I kind of wish they did not do that. I just wish they would have put just put Royal Navy HMS Belfast. In my opinion, that'd be so much easier. But then again, I am also still waiting for Trumpeter to give us a revenge class. But, well, that's wishful thinking on my part. Because I believe we still haven't got that one scale variant of the Nelson class that we've been waiting for. Alright, open this up like so. So, let's see. There's a big piece here. This is probably where some of the ship's boats sit on. Possibly this piece here. And 3 is another piece of the ship's main superstructure. I see top of a lifeboat. Perhaps more pieces of radar. Aside from that, I can honestly say I'm not sure what all is on this little D sprue. It goes to show also, like if you compare a 1 in 700 scale cruiser, light cruiser or heavy cruiser, and you compare the battleships, the pieces for the cruiser are almost minuscule compared to the parts for the battleships, which granted, understandable since they're smaller, but even the Alaska class, which were essentially a small capital ship, their pieces are very similarly made to a cruiser piece. Anyway, next we are on to the dual F sprues. So, we of course got more of the whalers. We have the buoys or life rafts, whichever you want to call them. I see you got some anchors here. You got the, I'm trying to remember what they're called. You put them in the water for mines. They're normally set on the ship's turrets sides for battleships. You hook them onto something and then you put them in the water to help with mines. You have anchors, you have some signal lights, and of course the piece of resistance for this sprue. you have the base, and you of course have 4 of the ship's triple 6-inch guns. So very, very nice. Very crisp looking in my opinion. In fact, I'm looking at this because the part's already gray. You could actually leave it like that, or just prime it and then use a light royal gray and then move on from there. But that's my own opinion. Next we have the decals. So we have the British flag. You of course have the naval ensign. You have the hull number, C-35. You have a couple tiny decals in 3, 4, 5, and 6. And that's pretty much what makes up that sprue. Next out is what seems to be a single piece of photo etch. So you have both of the ship's masts. You have the ship's main davit. No, sorry, not davit, crane. I'm trying to remember what this is called. It's set I believe this is the part that's set right here. Pardon me real quick, grab the paint guide just for an example. Is this piece here that's along the superstructure of the ship. That's what these are. These here are possibly the ones at the rear of the ship. Aside from that, I am not wholly sure what the rest of the parts are that are on this photo etch. So next out we get is the ship's stern. So you got the beginning part for the ship's structure. Lock in your piece, one of these, I believe, or it actually is not one of these, and it's actually one of the other parts for the ship's rear turrets. But nice and crisp. You have that wood deck detail on there. Probably be easier to bring it out by priming it. Next out we have the forward half of the ship. So you already have a lot of this stuff done up for you, so you're not having to do a whole lot of small pieces. That's good. Spot for the where I believe the bridge is. Spot and the super firing 6-inch. All in all, not bad. Saves you a whole bunch of headaches for having to build all those tiny parts like you do in certain other kits. I'm not naming which ones. Then you have your waterline hull. I guess Trumpeter got out of making the entire part, which I understand. Lower hull, I guess, which is understandable. Not a lot of people like full hulls. In fact, it gives you the ability, if you wish to do it, to make a sea diorama of the Belfast. In fact, I would have to look. You could even make a small little squadron of ships. So say you take a Type 42 or the Westminster, or well, I think the Westminster is a Type 42, or is it a Type? I forget. I'd have to look. Just a seascape of your own little dream of British ships for the more modern time period. But overall, that is everything in the Trumpeter 1700 HMS Belfast. So, final opinion, I don't have one yet. We will see as we build her. Can't really judge just by the pieces in the box. But anyway, that will conclude this week's episode. Next week we will begin the build by working on the hull and the deck, as well as starting to add on some of the pieces for the superstructure. So I would like to thank you all for joining me today in this look of the Trumpeter 1700 Belfast. If you wish to remain up to date on any videos, then please do hit that bell icon to be notified of any future updates. I wish you all a nice day. I wish you a nice week. And Godspeed, everyone. This is Captain Charlemagne, and I'm signing off. Ta-ta, everyone.